Hello there and welcome to my reaction to Even Fancier Drinking by Internet Historian Incognito mode. Well, on Incognito mode channel. There's another video I'm watching that is a bit disliked. 48k to 2.8k, not as bad as Jontron's one with Timo, but it's still not good. I'm assuming it's because of the controversy that happened recently. I didn't go into it. I don't know exactly what happened. I did want to, but then I just didn't. So I don't know, and actually, I was kind of worried that because of that, Internet Historian will stop uploading videos. It's like, I could be wrong, but I think it had something to do with plagiarism, right? And I don't know how correct it is and how accurate that those accusations are, if that's even the case. But I enjoyed a lot of his videos, and he's one of my favorite channels on YouTube, so I don't really want to see him go. See him uploading again after, like, I think, no, the main channel video was the last one. Yeah, it's been 3 months on this channel, and then just want to check. Sorry about this. 2 months on since the last video he made at all. Well, maybe not at all. Maybe he did on the gaming channel. Don't remember what it's called. I did a couple of reactions on that as well. Anyway, let's watch this. Even Fancier Drinking.
By Incognito.
God, this is loud.
Alright, we've done theatre, we've done painting, we've done wine, and now it's time to do some drinking stuff in general. And to start,
Yay!
let us learn about
Love
the
drinking
cultures of the world.
I don't, but still.
Welcome to my private
I wonder if my culture would be mentioned.
Kid, I got a lot to teach you about the world. We must learn all of the drinking customs of all the funny foreign places. Starting with where drinking
the word for the thing.
The country
Not a plane.
of Uck.
Airlander. I don't think you can
The trick
land
is
on
to
air.
jump just before you hit the ground. Observe British people in their natural habitat.
Of course, drinking, and you start with British.
Cheers, where they clink their glasses together before drinking. The tradition dates back centuries, but the origin, why they started doing it, is somewhat unknown.
Ah, it lost the
But we have
time.
a couple of theories.
Okay,
Theory 1. Poison.
it's fun. Oh,
Yes. So imagine a situation
okay.
like this. Two people who don't trust each other, sitting down together at the pub. This guy then does something shady to the other guy's drink.
Oh, is it like spills on cheers? They both
Did you
kind of...
poison my drink? Me? I would never. Well then, I'll pour a little of mine into yours, and you can pour a little of yours into mine, and we'll both either be totally fine or both totally dead. No, there's no need to do that. So that was the initial version, and then eventually they just kind of shortcutted it to, yeah, clink clink, it's fine, I trust you. But that's probably
Yeah,
So, theory
I doubt it because of, like, this specifically. Because you can... well, I guess it could have mutated into this. But you can cheers without it being full and without spilling it and stuff, so... shaky theory.
Number 2. Ghosts. Right, in the Middle Ages, people were worried about spooky ghosts and spirits. So they'd do cheers very loudly to scare away the demons. Also, sometimes you'd spill some of your drink onto the table and the floor, and then that was like a little offering to the spirit. But that's probably also not true.
Yeah,
The most likely answer
weird.
is simply that everyone likes that sound. It's very satisfying. There's more?
Yeah, because I feel like we do it here. I don't know for what reason in Russia people do it. And I don't know how long it's been happening. Could have, like, originated in Britain and maybe just spread across Europe and stuff and eventually reached Russia. But we do that. If someone does it at my house, I would rather they don't spill anything.
Someone drops a glass and everyone goes kind of silent, like, "Oh, you fucking idiot." Well, in the UK, instead, everyone goes, "Way!" in celebration. as a way to make fun of you but also make you feel not so bad. Uh-oh.
Okay.
The BBC? They have a whole organization for that now? We gotta get out of here. We'll take my private cruise ship.
Big black
Come
cheers.
to Italy, where they filmed the Mario movie. Let me just park this here.
It's not Costa Concordia.
Come this way.
What?
This here.
Chad, is this actually real?
Come this way.
God. XQC. God damn it. What a inhuman thing.
To the Leaning Tower of Pizza, held up by the raw strength of 1,000 tourists posing for photographs. But did you know that Italians, when they say cheers, say chin chin?
Ah. Salute in a more formal setting. Okay. Before it fell down, I want to say that it hasn't fallen down because of the energy that tourists give it by holding it. So they have a mental image of it, them holding it, so it's gonna stand there forever. Or until they die and stop producing the energy.
To the Japanese, because in Japanese,
it's penis.
Chin chin means penis.
Yes.
Germany next.
Oh,
Now here
that
they
was
do
quick.
Bruderschaft, where you link your arms together when
Oh,
drinking.
yeah.
It's also kind of seen all over the world at weddings in particular, but
Yeah.
only the Germans have a name for it. It's
We call it something here too. Like something specific, but I can't remember because it's not... Well, it's not that uncommon, but also it's not, you're not gonna be doing this with your, like, mates just drinking at home. Only for, like, maybe a day or something like that. I can't remember.
It's the end of formalities between two people. But the Germans have a lot more. Now, when you clink glasses together with someone, you have to look them directly in the eye. And if you don't do it, you will be cursed with 7 years of bad sex, apparently.
Specifically.
It's not my fault. It's the Germans. Then
Almost
when
no
doing
one
shots
believes.
in Germany, they sometimes also go Zermit, and you hold the glass near your belly. Zertit, and you hold it near your chest.
Oh.
And then Zumsack, and you hold it near your, and then Zak, and you drink. Now, on to Finland.
well,
They keep it casual.
I thought the
They
first
have a
was the
culture
middle.
specifically
But it's
for
because they...
drinking alone.
People
You're supposed to
in the
do
middle.
it
I
while
don't know.
loafing around in your underpants, and it's called kalsari kani, also known as underwear drunk. All right, that's all I could find on Finland. So
Okay.
off to Canada. To get there, I booked us a private fishing trawler. It's so exclusive that even these fish, yes,
They're
go
not
to
allowed.
a private school. In Newfoundland, Canada, they have the
Bad comedian.
Newfoundland
Bad
Screech.
historian.
You take a shot of Screech, and then you do the
Oh,
Screech.
it's a rum.
It
Okay.
goes like this.
Is you a screecher? And then you answer like this. Deed I am, me old cock, and long may your big jib jaw. That's it.
It's a pirate culture. Then they take a
Okay.
big fish, usually a cod, and they kiss it on the lips. Anyway,
I wonder if Shui's gonna be
kinda-
mentioned for
I'm
Australia.
busy, so there's no more customs anywhere in the world. You can do some more, maybe independent research yourself. I'll see you back in the field.
Really? Okay.
Okay, this next section is on cocktails.
Oh.
So it all started when we made this asset.
I thought it'll be
where
interesting.
character, he's shaking a cocktail at a frat party, and I turned to the editor and I went, "Wait a minute, that's a weird word. Why are they called cocktails?" And we started Googling it, and it kind of went down a rabbit hole, and it was actually really interesting. So
Okay.
here it is. Cocktails.
It is a good question.
In
Why?
the 1700s, fuel prices were outrageous.
Is this real chat?
So, everybody used the horse. Now, horses weren't just used for travel, they were also used for work.
Yeah, only in the past. Definitely multiple times last week, I didn't go outside to see a guy on a horse just going across on the street. That didn't happen. No one uses horses anymore.
In the fields. So you would sometimes put a harness
And I do
on a
live in the
horse
city,
for plowing a field,
even
right?
if it is small.
Now, when you do that, its tail actually gets in the way, and so we have to do something about that thing. Think of it
Move
like
it.
the foreskin of the horse. You put
I
it in
won't.
the guillotine,
I will
and
not.
everybody closes their eyes.
That's not what...
Problem solved.
Actually, I don't know. Maybe that's how it's done in the US for foreskin, or maybe New Zealand, and the historian speaks about his own experiences. I don't know.
Now, this practice is called
The
docking.
saw.
It has a different meaning these days.
Yes, it does. All right. Ooh.
So once the tail is docked, some say it's much easier to clean. But it also
there's
like a chicken's tail, right?
less
Hence,
hair.
they would call these tails cocktails. So that's step one in the story.
Yeah. Okay.
You've
How do
also
we get
got
to the
horse merchants, right?
tails?
And they are a very shrewd bunch. They know that when they sell their horses, the
Peaky
customer
Blinders.
wants very feisty and energetic animals.
I need to
Someone
fucking
who's buying a
finish the
horse
TV
doesn't
show.
want one that's kind of sickly,
Started
lazy,
in September.
or sleeping all the time, right? They need it for work. So how do you ensure, then, that your horse looks full of beans and moxie and some other stuff and has the maximum horsepower possible when it's time to sell? Well, they would use this one quick hack. All the equestrians hate them. They would go over to their mortar and pestle, and they would throw in some chili, some ginger, and a few other spices, and just mix it all together.
Into powder and then blow into the horse's
They
face.
would go over to the horse. Hold still, little fella.
Oh,
and with
no.
the mixture, go up into the no-no area.
Oh.
Now, the horse
Just again, because of Peaky Blinders, there's a scene with the red powder and into the horse's face. I think it's the first episode of the first season. I could be wrong. So I thought that's where it was going, but okay.
very much. So it's kicking, it's going mad.
No,
and the
John.
bidders are all going, wow, this is a really great horse. It's got some spunk. It's going mad. And the bidders are all going, wow, this is a really great
Yeah, it's still Peaky Blinders. In the background, in the foreground, it's added.
horse. It's got
It
some
depends,
spunk,
whatever.
I tell ya. I'm buying it. So the horse merchants made a whole bunch of money. And everyone was happy. Well,
Except the horse.
almost everyone. The end.
It's like that story with a chicken that was laying eggs with the message like Jesus is coming, right? I think that was the message. I think it was also in the historian's video. Oh yeah, it was where the guy predicted end of the world. The name of the video and the guy himself is on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember. But it was like where the chicken would lay an egg, and then the woman would write Jesus is coming on the egg and then put it back in for it to be laid again. So the chickens were definitely unhappy with that circumstances.
Of step 2. Now step 3. Around the same time,
Yeah, we still didn't
you've
get
got
to drinking.
bartenders over in the saloon, and they have just invented the science of mixology. They've realized that you can add Red Bull and lemon juice to stuff and actually make alcohol not taste so bad. But when they added some ginger and spices and maybe a little bit of pepper, people went, oh, I know these. These are those horse suppositories. Cocktails, we'll call them. Glug, 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 glug. and
Is
the
that
name
actually
stuck.
why? Okay.
Do you think it's too early for ad time? I don't think it's too.
Like if I'm okay, ad time, sorry for pausing it here, but like in Russia we call them cocktaili. And if I Google why that is in Russian, I probably find that it's translated from English, and that's gonna be about it. Well, not translated from English, like taken from English without translation and just adapted over time. But God, if that's the real story and not as well a theory, that is insane.
Too early
Okay.
for ad time. Oh no, help me, Incognito Man. I signed up for discounts at a retail store and they won't stop sending me messages.
No.
I signed up to that website years ago. Why are they still spamming me?
Persona be like,
That would be my doing. I am data-based man.
Who will stop him? It's me, Incognito Man. Incognito is the brilliant service that tells a whole bunch of databases and people.
I wonder if
data and stuff
the
to
theming
get
of the site
lost.
itself have
It
anything to
says,
do
"Hey,
with
do you have
cogs?
this email address? Well, lose it.
Or it's
Hey,
just-
marketer man. You can't use this.
Internet story and heard the word
Instead of
Incognito.
chasing
There's
them all
cog
up
in it, so he
manually
put
by
cogs
signing
there.
up to Incognito, they send these legal requests on your behalf to get you deleted from the internet.
Let us do battle in my realm.
And then we teleport to the desert.
I better follow him. Incognito portal.
Cyberpunk music.
Good of you to finally join us.
Yeah. Well,
He's wearing
I'm gonna stop
Crocs.
you. Incognito lawyer powers, legal threats, data removal tools, Consumer Privacy Act, data protection regulations, polite.
All
yet
the same
stern
guy.
Wording. It has created a Gundam. So go to incognito.com/incognito. Sign up today and get 60%.
Every time Gundam
off
is
an
mentioned,
annual
I'm
plan.
taking my
I won't
Gundam
change
from a
numbers.
shell, but I'm not
I
gonna do
won't
it.
change email
Should
addresses.
stop doing that.
I'll just simply take them
You can see his legs under the
I
word
can feel
plan.
it working. My phone isn't ringing as often. My email inbox, it's less full.
Oh, that guy's haircut is
There's
almost
just a
like
whole bunch
mine.
of shit. And then like the sun comes out, the clouds clear.
I miss my hair.
Are getting too light. I'm floating away.
Bye.
He'll die of the cold eventually.
Pan up and it's an old man. He's like, not bad, kid. Not bad at all.
So go to incognito.com/incognito.
I hear it.
Sign up today and get 60% off an annual plan. Ad over. Have you heard about the latest dangerous trend? It's all over social media. Wine mixed with watermelon. A
Oh, I've seen that,
combination
yeah.
when mixed together makes a deadly poison.
Does it?
Here we are in Argentina with a delicious watermelon. Now let me chase it down with a glass of wine. Okay, it's not true.
Oh,
There's been
yeah.
a myth in South America for over 100 years that you should never pair wine and watermelon together.
Really?
No one quite knows why, but we dug and we were able to find a single source from an author, Facundo de Genova, and he says in probably Argentina, probably sometime in the 1800s, there was a small Catholic church and everything was great. For a time.
Okay.
They grew wine for dinner and watermelon for dessert. Until one day,
They combined the
bad
two.
happened in their idyllic little town.
No.
A few men in the village started getting a bit grabby. It was a whole Me Too thing, but it was the first Me Too. It was a Me one. No one quite knows who did what to whom, but it was a
course.
big scandal, I tell you. And it kept happening.
Oh no, what's happening to our beautiful village?
They said in their funny foreign
Perverts
accents.
happening.
Now, presiding over the village was a monastery. So the priests all gathered together at this monastery to figure out what the hell's going on with all this grabbiness,
Yeah, this town sucks now.
said the women folk.
I hope you have the plan to fix this.
Yes, of course we do.
Is
But
that
first, we must figure out
historian?
why the men are
Her
becoming so
historian? I can
grabby.
remember what he
Come on,
calls
guys.
it.
Think outside the box. We have to find something, anything to blame, except the people who actually did the thing. So the priests
Yeah.
began looking at the diets of
Would be
the
like
people in
that.
the village. The priest said aloud. One of the monks proposed a theory. Have you noticed that we grow a lot of grapes here? Yes. And have
Yeah,
you
for the
noticed that
wine.
we also grow a lot of watermelon? Yeah.
Yeah, for the
Well,
watermelon.
what if, somehow, it makes the men folk grabby? That must be it. We must put a stop to this. But how? Well, let's tell them that if they drink wine and eat watermelon, they'll go to hell. Okay, so that's what they did. Hear ye, do not drink wine and then eat watermelon. You'll go to hell. Oh, really? Really? I don't know that. Maybe it's really. And it worked.
Huh.
The assaults suddenly stopped.
Really?
Although whether that was a coincidence, we don't actually know. Over
Yeah.
time, however, the messaging kind of evolved. Because don't mix wine with watermelon isn't exactly a well-known Bible proverb, and people became less religious. So instead of, you'll go to hell, the line changed to, it's poison and you'll die.
Ah.
And in Argentina, in some places, the
I
myth
see.
still perpetuates. Now, is there actually any evidence at all
No.
that pairing wine and watermelon together really causes the mood?
Why isn't the word bag?
Kinda.
Oh.
Watermelon contains an amino acid, arginine, which partially transforms into nitric oxide, and then nitric oxide is a vasodilator. And vasodilators do this.
They dilate your visor.
Plus, wine also has polyphenols, and that also helps in the formation of nitric oxide.
Yeah.
So, double this.
Isn't just alcohol
But the
does...
effect from nitric oxide is actually very mild. Also, all of these foods have polyphenols and arginine in them as well.
Yeah,
So
I
pretty
mean,
much everything has it.
it's just
So, no. The effects are likely hugely
inorganic stuff.
overstated. So, the moral of the story is...
sounds reasonable, yeah.
This next section is on wine in the Bible. Sort of. Apologies if we got any details wrong. We mostly kept this section because we liked the pun on Eucharist.
The what now?
Jumping forward to Jesus. This
Forward?
is his first recorded miracle. So, Jesus and a whole bunch of his followers and stuff, they are invited to a wedding in Cana. Now, the waiter goes over to serve some guests some wine, and... uh-oh.
It's empty.
No. Give Jesus water.
It's empty. There's no more wine.
No, wait, I've got a plan, says Jesus.
It
Bring me
looks
6
different.
big stone jugs, about
Spoilers.
20 to 30
Yeah.
gallons each, and fill them up to the brim with H2O. Now, check out this. And he does the finger thing. And then when they went to pour the water, suddenly it was wine. And it was the best wine that
120
anyone
gallons,
had ever
okay.
had. And they go, oh, that's pretty good, Jesus. But have you got any other miracles? And he says, yes. Come on,
No.
we're going to do a supper. Now, everyone is gathered around, and this is the point at which Jesus reveals, by the way, one of you is very sus. I know one of you.
So is
will
it the
betray
Last
me."
Supper or the
And
First
he looks
Supper?
at Judas, and Judas is kind of looking
I-
away.
I only
then
know
Da
of
Vinci's
Last
like,
Supper.
Guys, I need you to stay still for the painting.
So Jesus goes, watch this. And he takes some bread and wine, and he says, look at this bread. This is my flesh. And everyone's kind of like, really? And he goes, well, yeah. I mean, if you're
You
Protestant, then just metaphorically.
cannibals.
No, okay, look at this wine.
My
It is
blood?
my blood.
Yeah.
Really? Quit making this so complicated. Here, have some. So he hands it to his disciples, and they went, fantastic. I was peckish and thirsty. And he goes, yes, in fact, I shall call this little celebration a Eucharist, or Holy Communion. It will be the
Oh,
practice
that's
of
what that
eating
is.
one cracker or piece of bread and drinking some wine. And if you eat the whole thing and drink the whole bottle, that's called a huge Eucharist. Now, most Christians today take that as a symbolic thing. Unless you are
What?
Catholic. Now, they believe in what's called transubstantiation, which means that the bread and wine literally turns into the body and blood of Jesus at the moment that they are consumed. However, it does still look like bread and wine,
Ew.
and they call that phenomenon appearance or accident. It
Wait,
has
what?
changed.
Appearance,
but you
I
just
understand.
can't
Accident?
tell, except for sometimes when you actually can. Lanciano, Italy, in
Actually.
the 8th century, there is a monk, and he has been on r/atheism
Oh, no.
for far too long. He is starting to have doubts about the blood and wine stuff, but he still has his monkly responsibilities. So he holds mass, and he says the words of consecration: "This is my body, this is my blood, this is my rifle, this is my gun." And at that very moment, the bread turns into literal flesh in his hands, and the wine turned to blood.
How can you even tell?
Holy shit, said everybody in unison. And ironically, he went, oh, well, I should probably not eat this then. So instead, he kept it in this chalice thing. What is it? A clock? Anyway, there it remains
Liquor,
still
yeah.
today, kept in the church of San Francesco. And now a couple of years later, in the 1970s, Professor Odaro Leone decides, let me do a bit of an experiment. So he took a sample of the flesh, and he came to the
he was allowed.
conclusion that
Okay.
it was indeed real. Apparently, it was part of a heart valve, and that the blood type was AB. The sample has not been analyzed since. However, it is officially recognized by the Roman Catholic Church.
Oh.
Here ends the reading.
What if he pulled out a
Now you might
piece of
say,
meat behind
"Wow,
someone's ear,
that
from
section
behind
really
someone's
doesn't
ear?"
have a whole lot to do with wine. And in fact, you're just badly retelling a Bible story.
This is gonna be a
This
theme.
final section we
Okay.
started making for the main channel when we found this massive court document, and we thought, holy shit, this is a hell of a story. And we had all these ideas of it being like Witcher themed, and so there were quite a few like random Witcher assets, just ignore that. But it just kept
Okay.
blooming and blooming into this bigger story, and it got too long. And so here it is on Incognito. And here we begin in
Well, it's long.
1743.
There's like 10 minutes
The birth
left.
of Thomas Jefferson. Push, Mrs. Jefferson, push. Now, Tom Jeff. He was involved with some politics. Kinda sexy, but you're too late, he's dead. But what's
Damn.
more important is he
Again.
tried his hand at a lot of different hobbies. Architecture. He designed his own home in Monticello. He played the violin. He kept mockingbirds. He collected fossils.
He kept mocking
And,
the birds.
most relevant of all, he hoarded a culture. In his extensive garden, he kept 330 types of vegetables.
You're
and
saying he was
170
rich?
types of fruit. One of those fruits was grapes. So
Okay.
he tried his hand at viniculture. And while he was good at a lot of things, he never saw much success with making wine. So he mostly collected the stuff. Now, people naturally wondered, like, hey, what happened to the wine he made and the wine he collected? Did he sell it all? Did he give it away? Did he attempt the huge caress? Fast forward, 1984.
Did he just...
Meet German music
keep it?
producer
Oh.
Hardy Rodenstock. He is an avid wine collector. And he's tapping on the walls of old buildings in Paris, looking for some national treasures. On this occasion, the wall opened, and my God. Sealed behind, he said that he found a collection of 24 bottles, dating all the way back to the 1780s, and look at that. THJ engraved right there on the glass. Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah, is
It
it...
seems like Mr. Rodenstock has stumbled upon Jeff's hidden collection. Mystery
Did it
solved.
for real?
And it would make sense that they wound up in France because Jefferson spent a number of years over there. Amazing.
Okay.
And into Rodenstock's wine collection, they went. Now, Rodenstock's wine collection was something quite special, and he liked to show it off. So every year he would host tasting events that featured extremely rare wines. And he would invite all the most prominent German celebrities, such as the Hans brothers, and Das Boot,
These are all made up,
and
okay.
Death Stranding. Now,
Oh.
one of his guests was a guy named Michael Broadbent, the senior
Death
director
Stranding.
for Christie's auction house. Together, they cracked open one of the THJ bottles.
I looked, and there are bottles at the bottom, right? And then a guy on the PC, which is like the icon for Incognito mode. It's like the guy collected in his basement 24 bottles and
Bottle
one
number 1.
dude in his laptop.
Broadbent said that the wine was delicious. Yup, these bottles are in perfect condition, he said. You should really auction these things. I run an auction, you should put them in there. Huh, maybe I should, said Mr. Rodenstock. Maybe I should. But before they did
I mean,
that,
keep
they
a few
sold
for just
2 of the bottles
fun.
privately, number 2 and number 3, and they drank
Okay.
a 4th. On the 5th of December 1985, they put up bottle number 5 for auction at Christie's. It was bought by Christopher Forbes for £105,000.
Orbs?
Which, at the time, meant it was the most expensive bottle of wine ever sold. But that wine wasn't to drink. Proudly, that thing sat on the Forbes shelf, eventually to be put into the Forbes Gallery in the exhibit on former presidents.
Yeah.
And funnily
Is
enough,
it still there?
they actually put this bottle on display under big industrial lights, and it heated the thing something fierce. And the heat
And it
ruined
exploded?
its drinkability, of course.
Oh.
In fact, so
So you
intense
need
was
to
the light
pop
that the
open.
glass expanded and the cork fell into the bottle. Some time passed.
That's a lot of
They
expansion for
celebrated
that
the
to happen.
sale with another drink. Bottle number 6, now gone. And then they sold 2 more privately. In 1987, they drank bottle number 9. In 1988, they drank bottle number 10. And at this point, a new challenger enters the scene. The White Wolf of Palm Beach.
Who would
They
that be?
call him Bill Koch. Some say it's short for billionaire. He's a member of one of the wealthiest families in America. And he is also
Never heard
one
of
the
him,
world's
God.
most avid collectors of wine. So they sell him a total of 4 bottles. for $311,804. We're way over here on the graph at this point. So, gently,
Okay.
careful.
But it's 4 bottles,
he put
so it's
them
kind
in
of
his climate-controlled cellar.
around like
And he
80k
would show
each.
them off to his friends. Otherwise, here they remained for the next 17 years. As the years ticked by, more bottles were sold and more bottles were consumed, until there were none left. 2005. The 4 Coke bottles had sat around for a long time on the shelf, doing nothing, when
Marinating.
something new happened. The Boston Museum of Fine Arts was interested in displaying the bottles and wanted to trace the exact provenance. So Coke gets on the line with the Jefferson Foundation and he goes, "Oh, look, I don't mean to brag, but I'm about to have my bottles displayed at the Boston Museum. But I need just a little bit of verification. Could you tell me exactly where these bottles come from?" And the Thomas Jefferson Foundation responded, "I'm afraid we can't do that. We don't think they're real." Yeah. In fact,
I
you're
mean,
not the
if it
only
says
person to call
THJ
about
and nothing else.
What? Yes, it was in the 80s. A Mr. Broadbent, I believe, of Christie's auction house called up trying to verify the bottles so that he could sell them. But we looked through our comprehensive historical records and found no mention of these bottles. Here's a letter
They
we
probably
sent
looked
saying that
on
we couldn't
paper and not
verify
on the old
and they're
PCs.
probably fake. But he sold those bottles to me. Now, back to
It
1770s.
does sound like a
Now here's the thing we should
scheme.
know about Jefferson. Let's just say if he was
It's
around
quite easy to
today,
pull
he would
off, to be
play
honest.
a lot of Factorio. He was,
Oh.
you know,
I have the largest collection of Funko Pops in the world.
and that meant that his record keeping was very meticulous. All of his anime was ordered alphabetically. And so too were all the things that he
The only
ever
thing I saw there
purchased.
was Code Geass. The only thing I
including wine.
recognized immediately.
So that's my story, Mr. Pepsi. And those bottles are probably fake. When Coke hears about this, he hangs up the phone and hits.
Took me a few seconds. But why did he say Mr. Pepsi? Oh yeah, his name is Coke. Coke. Oh, God.
Speed dial on his pager or something, and I need to assemble a team of investigators. Mr. Rodenstock lived in Germany.
Their dog.
So, Coke's investigators scoured the countryside for clues, and eventually they found a lead. They
Germany
managed
is very
to track
small.
down 5 German residents who claimed to have done engraving work for Rodenstock in the past. They said, "Hey, have you seen these bottles before?" And they went, "Oh yeah, we have. We did those." And all 5 were certain that the THJ engravings were done by an electric power tool. Every one of these 24 bottles of Jefferson wine were fake. Big,
Alright.
fat phonies. Allegedly. So, Bill takes all of this evidence to court, and Rodenstock is summoned.
Honestly, that
for
sounds
another
more
trial.
likely than actually
So Bill
randomly
wins in
finding.
absentia and is awarded $1 million. In the end, Bill never received any money from Rodenstock. But to Bill, it was about sending a message more than receiving any money.
I'm coming after you.
And it's just
Oh.
one battle of many that Bill has fought against counterfeit wine. In 2008, Coke filed a consumer fraud lawsuit against the Chicago Wine Company, which was later settled out of court. Another time,
Okay.
Coke spent $3.5 million buying nearly 2,700 bottles of wine from
Jesus.
Zacky's auction house.
Both the
Almost
bottles
a
and the
third of
money.
$1 million worth was fake. The auction house settled out of court, but the seller was told to pay $379,000 in damages and another $1,000 for every bottle. But then the next day they went, "You know what, we've thought about it. This jury has decided to award you $12 million in punitive damages." "Jackpot," said Mr. Coke. "I'm rich." But a year later, the court changed its mind and awarded Coke only $711,000.
Still.
Okay, so this guy's like a one-man army, and he's going around trying to scare the shit out of anyone.
He's not a
selling
one-man
fake
army. He has like an
wine.
army of
you've
lawyers
got
behind him.
expensive rare wine, do you?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll buy it then. Yeah, but no, yeah, I'll buy it. No, it's fine. It's genuine, is it? Yeah, you're saying it's genuine. Yeah, definitely. And then he goes and he inspects it, then finds it's fake, and then goes, "Yeah, I knew all along, stupid." Lawsuit time. By doing this, he's very slowly cleaning up the market. After all of these investigations,
I mean, that's not the worst thing billionaires do with their money. So, I guess keep going.
Bill has spent around $35 million tracking down fake wine. But by 2016,
Just not even a
Coke
drop
was
in the
ready
bucket
to
in
lay
his-
down his weapons. He sold off a
for his
big chunk of
finances.
his collection, and it sold for
Oh.
$22 million. Which means he likely did not break even. So consider giving
I don't know
to
if he
his
cared.
GoFundMe.
Nah.
Now, this is actually just a very small part of the story. This scandal ended up making such waves across the wine industry that they decided to make a movie about it, based on the Benjamin Wallace book, The Billionaire's Vinegar. And it was set to star Brad Pitt. No, wait, now it's Matthew McConaughey. No, wait, it looks like it's cancelled.
Yeah, I don't think it's in limbo if there's no news since
All right, that's the
2015.
video. Thanks for watching. 4
think
more
it's
to go. But
gone.
we've already started in on the regular type stuff in case you don't love fancy. Okay, bye. And don't forget,
okay.
incognito.com/incognito.
Alright, this was fancy. Well, I guess it was even fancier. But yeah, I'm glad to see him back. And I'm glad to hear that there's... I am enjoying these fancy videos. But I also don't mind the news about making more of a normal content again. Because I think that's... I won't say that's where he shines the most, but then if it's if the plagiarism thing is correct, or like true and whatnot, maybe it's not him who's shining, maybe it's someone else who's doing all the work. Ooh, boo-hoo. I don't know. I don't know the situation. I don't really want to know at this point. I'm just glad to see that he's keep making videos, and I'm gonna forget about it. Hopefully by the next one. Anywho, thank you everybody for watching this. I appreciate it a lot. I hope to see you next time, and goodbye. Have a great life, because one of us has to.